Hello, friends. We have started a new channel, Siddhi, and under it, the new initiative, Newspaper Asset (NPA). This will be coming daily onwards, and the kind of inspiration that we have drawn is from ICANN initiative, which was started by Insight, but somehow the initiative got disrupted, and the void that it had created, it has not been filled by any of the newspaper analysis till date. So we are trying to do the same. Certainly the quality will not be up to that level, but still we are working on it, and we will keep trying to improve it and go up to that level. So let's go to the main discussion of the day. So we will be discussing the Hindu, and the date is 25th June. On the second page itself, there was an article related to climate change and its impact on agriculture. The article had given the example of Kerala, with many examples for cash crops like cardamom, cashew nut, and many things. So you can see that the cardamom average yield per acre was 250 kg. However, in the recent times, it has reduced to 160 to 170 kg per acre. Similarly, in cashew nut, the production dipped by 50%. At the same time, Kerala saw a rise in number of pest attacks, and the main reason was increased level of relative humidity due to uncertainty in weather patterns. So humidity kept on rising, and it created a very good ground so that pest could grow. So to tackle the pest, farmers had to use pesticide, which increased the cost of farming. At the same time, it impacted the soil quality very adversely. The next thing in the article was the extreme rainfall. The extreme rainfall, it wiped out the soil nutrient reserves, and the excessive rainfall that came, it turned the soil acidic. At the same time, the topsoil, that is the organic matter of the soil, that was also lost in the process. Another point which was highlighted in the article, it was about thermosensitive crops. The crops which are dependent on the kind of temperature prevailing. For example, if there is poor rain, it will affect the pepper pollination adversely. Another example in the same thing is the humidity level. If humidity level increases or decreases, it affects the quality and size of the coffee bean. So let's go to the next example, the sugarcane example. Uh, it was expected that the expected rainfall, it was expected to be around 11 millimeter. However, rain was around 105.5 mm. So the crop itself could not go to the field. It could not be planted just because the rainfall condition were not supportive. So this was the article. It could have been used anywhere for, it could have been used anywhere for climate change and its impact on agriculture. You can deal that with example. You can quote the data. So the earlier article that we have discussed, it is beneficial for GS3 paper, for the environment and the climate change topic. So next we go to the another topic, all women police station. It was also on the page number 2 itself. This article is helpful in paper 1, the society part, where we see the women related topics. and governance topic in GS2. Here we see the example of all women police station, which was initiated in 1992 in Chennai. The objective was that more women are encouraged, so that encouraged to report cases of crime and harassment against them. And the kind of success that we see in today's time, the total number of all women police stations, it has increased to 222 all over the state. And the kind of success, the kind of crime reporting related to women harassment, it has increased in the state. And the same thing directed the state so that they could recruit more number of women in police force. You can see that one sixth of the police force in Tamil Nadu comprises of women. On the same line, the state has started new initiative Pink Patrol. Pink Patrol means the whole team will be having women, that is inspector, SI, or head constable, constable. So they will be on road, and they will be monitoring the kind of crime to be committed, or they would work on stopping such kind of incident on roads, so that women feel safe while coming out. Uh, let's go to the next topic. Yes, next topic is also related to governance. It is very helpful in GS paper 2. The same example can be quoted if any question comes regarding information commissions, state information commissions, or any question related to RTI application. In this given example, the SIC of Rajasthan has forced 894, all the 894 police stations in Rajasthan, to equip them with CCTV cameras so that custodial torture can be addressed. The SIC did it by forcing the police stations to ensure the implementation of Supreme Court 2020 order. Actually, the whole incident is so interesting, in which an RTI application was filed by an RTI activist. He shouted the CCTV footage of a particular police station, in which the police station initially refused to give any kind of footage under RTI. And when the activist went for first appeal, then the police station said that we have deleted the videos. They stated the reason that every 20 days we delete the video so that the storage problem doesn't come in the process. Still, the application paved the way so that all the police stations come under this Supreme Court order. So you can see the power of RTI with this application, with this example. You can quote it very well in any of the RTI related question, and putting such kind of examples in the answers will fetch you 1 or 1.5 marks extra compared to any other aspirant who are going to write the mains. So the next topic, let's go to the next topic. Next topic is related to BRICS, the summit, which was held in a virtual manner and hosted by China. The starting point, the starting point is the BRICS idea. The idea of BRICS came up from a newspaper, Goldman Sachs, in 2001, and they suggested it as a grouping outside G7, because at that time G7 was considered only institution which was considered of all the developed economies and would guide the path of the whole world. However, Goldman Sachs, they conceptualized the idea, and Then the countries came up. They thought that certainly the idea is very interesting, and the associated countries, that is Brazil, Russia, India, and China, they come up together in 2009, and the kind of dependency, the kind of impact that it has on the world, you can see that combining BRICS countries, we see 41% of world population, 24% of global GDP, 27% of land mass, 16% of global trade. Certainly, the trade is little bit less. Still, the potential is too much. And the next thing is the area is providing 33% of world food. This summit was actually very interesting because this was the summit after Ukraine war. So you see, after Ukraine war, when West and USA are trying to alienate Russia on each and every platform, on BRICS, Russia was not alienated. The country was invited, and the platform provided uh, the platform provided the kind of ground that Russia was actually seeking. And for the other countries like India, China, Brazil, and South Africa, they had also too much to say to the world. So let's see that what are the things that are coming ahead. Let's go to the actual takeaway from the summit. In this, the sanction over Russia by the West and USA, it was strongly criticized by all the members, and a common position on Afghanistan. It was also discussed, in which an inclusive and representative government uh, was conceptualized, and it is in the process of getting to be executed on ground. Initially, Russia and China, they had opened their embassy in Kabul. India recently reopened its embassy in Kabul again, just 1 or 2 days before the summit. In the same summit, PM Modi, Indian Prime Minister, he insisted on providing common agenda for economic governance. Brazil came up with the idea of push for UNSC reform. Certainly, there are internal rifts in between the countries where China is not supporting India's membership to UNSC. There are certainly some of the things, but the platform was used to raise the voice for UNSC reforms. More importantly, South Africa, for which vaccine was a very big concern, they proposed that equitable access for vaccine should be provided. Another thing that was discussed was the BRICS Plus, where BRICS was supposed to be expanded, and new members like Senegal and Indonesia, many new countries. Uh, the platform is working so that such new, vibrant, and emerging economies could be included, and a common voice is raised against or in parallel to G7. In this space, we will be discussing the BRICS initiative that have been taken in past and recent years. For example, New Development Bank. It started as an alternative towards the global financing platforms like IMF and World Banks. So, New Development Bank has started working, and through this platform, India has got loan for 18 of its infrastructure projects. The another initiative was contingent reserve asset. It was initiated for the process that any such kind of dollar related dependency and the kind of sovereign debt crisis, it could be dealt properly under its own mechanism. This year, Putin suggested an alternative for the dollar, where a multi-commodity basket should be considered as a benchmark on which the payment will be based upon. The next initiative is BRICS payment system. We see the importance of SWIFT payment system, which is accepted as a global payment system. BRICS payment system offers a alternative independent of Western influence. The other initiative is also related to the trade custom agreement to coordinate and ease trade transport between BRICS nations. That is, among the nations, the trade can be expanded under it. The next three things, you see, the next three things, that is the R&D Center for Vaccine Research in South Africa, a remote sensing constellation of satellites, and a digital BRICS task force. That is one thing related to the vaccine. The second thing related to the satellite related imaging and other associated industries which depend on the satellite working, such as GPS or India's own Gagan system. And the next thing is related to the digital task force. These three things were discussed in the Quad membership as well. In Quad membership, these three things were focused. So it shows that India is keen to achieve the goals. Doesn't matter who the partner are. India is ready to cooperate with the Quad members and with the BRICS member as well. But the motive is clear, the goal is clear, the vaccine equitability is the concern. Effective use of remote sensing is the main concern of India, and the digital platform, which is going to be the future in the coming future. So India is working on that. So these are some of the initiatives which were taken in the past and which created influence. Let's go to the contradiction which exist in the organization. In contradiction, we go to the first point, where BRICS country, they were supposed that they will emerge as a counter to developed countries. However, in the recent times, when the whole world economy is collapsing, BRICS countries are no exception. They are also collapsing in the same way. We see with the example of Russia and Brazil. Only exception we have is China. The second contradiction is bilateral issues. They are never discussed on this platform. For example, India-China standoff. Another divergent feature we can see that India and Russia, they are not part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, whereas Brazil and South Africa, they are part of BRI. So it does not create a very good condition for synchronization. Next difference is Russia's action over Ukraine. Members differ in their opinion that the Russia action was justified or not. So this difference also creates a rift or a kind of non-confidence among the members. The other point is China and Russia, they are coming closer, whereas India, Brazil, and South Africa, they are coming closer to the China and Russia as well. At the same time, they are outreaching to the US and Europe, visible from the Quad membership that India is pursuing very hard. Still, we can see that the BRICS is a counter narrative to best dominated system, and it questions the authority of G7. That G7 is actually accommodating all the developing and developed economies, which has influence on the world as a whole. So this article was actually not published in the Hindu. However, the same has been taken from the video uploaded by the Hindu on YouTube itself. You can go and watch it directly also. Uh, but this content is also a short form of that, so you can continue with this also. After that, we go to the main article that was published in today's edition of the Hindu. Yes, the article was absolute chaos in Narega, Narega. Absolute. Absolute, you can see the term. So, this indicates that recently a app was used for Narega working. The app was named National Mobile Monitoring Software, NMMS. The actual objective behind it was to improve the citizen oversight and increase the level of transparency. By whom it will be worked? On ground, it will be implemented by Narega mates. Narega mates will be the local women at panchayat level, and the task that this monitoring system will accomplish, it will accomplish the attendance on each half of the day where the image will be taken. It will be geotagged in real time. So you see the potential that it can work. However, the on ground challenges, it was discussed in this article. The first issue which was discussed was that the app has to take the photograph on each day, on each half of the working hour. So you see that Narega works, they are dependent on the work done each day, and not based on the committed fixed hour on daily wise. So you can see that example was given in the article, that a woman who completes her work, her Narega related work by 9 a.m. and goes to her own establishment where she sells vegetables. But with this initiative, that is monitoring system, she has to come back again to the site so that the attendance could be marked. So you see the challenge coming up with this. The next challenge is related to patchy network issue that we see in the hinterland of the country. It was reported in the state Jharkhand and Kerala. The other challenge related to is Nareka mates who are supposed to implement this thing. So for implementing it, the Narega mates must have a smartphone. This criteria itself excludes many of the women and creates a condition where proxy mates, you see that the concept like panchayat patis, the similar concept can come up here, proxy mates, where the main counterparts of the women, they will actually operate behind the scene in the name of women enrolled as Narega mates. The next impact is the kind of training that have been given to the Narega mates. The quality of training which have been provided is not sufficient so that they can tackle the all monitoring related tasks. The other problem is the project was launched on the pilot basis earlier, on which the lessons learned, there were no signs, no reports came up that the lesson learned from the pilot initiative was implemented to improve the working of this monitoring system. Another challenge was one incident where the work done by the Narega workers could not be registered on the Narega website. In earlier case, if such kind of initiative that could have taken, the actual physical attendance marked by the Narega workers, it could have act as a evidence that they had worked. But in this case, there is no physical evidence because they are not signing, they are not doing any thumb impression or anything on the site. So if data not uploaded, then there is no point proving for the Narega workers that they have worked on the site. Let's go to another challenge. The other challenge is there are no parameter have been set to assess the app's performance. Actually, the app was brought to bring transparency and ensure quick payment to the workers. However, how to assess its performance? It has not been designed or not have been made public till date. The solution that the article suggested was very normal solution. It have been tried in many of the states of India, like strengthening the social audit mechanism, where the village itself monitors and holds the uh, whole panchayat, whole working system, whole Narega workers accountable towards the cows or the work to be done under the Narega. So this was the article. So the same article, how to use it? You see, it can be used under technology related question, where what the actual ground problems are faced. It can be quoted as an example. The other thing same can be used in the question related to e-governance or m-governance, where the initiative which was intended towards achieving some goals was actually against it. It was supposed to bring transparency, but it reduced the level of transparency there. So such contrasting examples can be quoted in the answers. Another article we see in the Hindu itself on page number 10. It was published. It was related to a study published in Lancet Infectious Diseases. According to it, vaccines which were administered in India, it actually prevented 42 lakhs deaths in India in 2021. The report extrapolated the things at the global level as well, where it showed that the vaccine prevented 20 million deaths. Another thing that the report highlighted, that approximately 62% of the deaths which were prevented were from high and upper level income countries. So you see the level of income inequality and the disparity related to resources. So this is the data which can be quoted in any R&D related activity or R&D related impact on the society. It can be used in any of the essay as well. So let's go to the next thing today. Image mobile. I could not complete the Indian Express completely, but some of the things that I got, I would like to discuss here. Where National Commission for Child Protection Rights, they came up with draft guideline related to child artists working on social media and OTT platforms. The guideline was supposed to be attached as an image, which I could not do so. In the coming time, we will do it. Uh, but the main things I will speak it out. The draft guideline provided that the permission from district magistrate where the activity is to be performed must be sought. A disclaimer must be run so that a disclaimer must be run saying that there were no abuse, neglect, or exploitation of children during shooting, and it provides that at least one parent or legal guardian should be present at the time of shooting. Another thing that it proposes that the children's education right must not be compromised if they are working in the OTT platform or any social media, such kind of working sites. At the same time, it deals about the breaks, the shift that they have to work in, and the kind of income that they will be generating from these activities must be deposited in a nationalized bank. 20% amount of it, 20% of the income must be deposited as FD in a nationalized bank. So it was related to that only. I think the article this can be used in child protection in digital platform. Another thing, let's go to the another item. It was related to the editorial. The editorial was named as "Let There Be Data." It is related that a new household consumer expenditure survey has been announced. The last that took place was in the year 2017-18. Previous to that, the same exercise was done in the year 2011 and 12. I am discussing the 2017 and 18 because the same data was never released on the ground of data quality issue. So India is still using the data of 2011 and 12 for many of the government initiatives like Housing for All, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, LPG refill, LPG Pahali schemes. So it shows that in absence of a timely updated data, increases the effectiveness increases the effectiveness of any government related initiative. So the survey will be likely to coming in the future. It will include 1.2 lakh rural and 84,000 urban households, and the exercise will be repeated every 5 years. The article suggests that the frequency of such survey should be increased, should be made annually, so that the actual ground picture can be captured and the policy making should include it, because it is the basis which provided the poverty line for India at the national level. So this was the only article that I read in the Indian Express. More things related to the article will be coming in future. So we will discuss it at that time. So this is all that we have for today. Tomorrow onwards, we will try to make it more user friendly. And thanks for watching. That's all from our end.